Brutus Magna here. I have a fairly large battle, a defence, where the CPU is Atrebartes and also the Gallic Confederations, two of them, against Rome in an unfortified town. You can see I've got some Praetorians, some Legionaries, some Vigiles, a mixture of other things, some Dacian bowmen. I've got a garrison army. I'm outnumbered by about 25%. I have about 4,000 units, about 5,000 units come in, 5,000 soldiers. So the what have we got? The doomed men here. Some little bit of noble horse, I think that is, noble spears. Some levy freemen, I think. They do have some siege equipment. They're a little bit damaged because they'd taken a town from me in the previous turn, which I lost, but I did damage them a bit. And then the champions of the Rood come in as well as the Gallic Federation. They also have one or two siege equipment. I think they're a lot of levy freemen and oath sworn, chosen swords, this kind of thing. So this is what I'm up against. I'm defending, and it's a town that I have actually. The design of the town is one that I have shown in a number of videos before. The kind of defence that I'm using, which is creating overlapping fields of fire. It's very effective. It doesn't require having to give orders while it's in progress, essentially.
Orders understood! Orders understood!
Just need to sort of babysit the defence, make sure that the lines are holding up, and potentially just move some units in as needed.
Orders understood!
You can see while it's starting up, the Atrebartes are coming in from the east. And one of the things I did just think about doing when I was setting up was I could charge out, because I outnumber the Atrebartes on their own. I could charge out and try to take them. I wasn't sure where the Gallic Federation were going to come, and I didn't want to sort of charge out and then go, oh, no, I don't want to charge out anymore. And then sort of have a really bad situation. So I just decided to do the defensive formations that I had, I've shown in videos that work.
As you command.
In this case, it's quite a bit larger scale. I've got a reasonable number of men and a reasonable number of attackers coming in.
Understood.
So you can see that the clock is on 40 minutes. It's gone down to 20 minutes, 22 minutes. It's a rather long video. So I've got, I've sort of got my field of, overlapping field of fire here. I've got an overlapping field of fire here. I've got an overlapping field of fire here. Put my cavalry outside because I want to be able to somehow take down their siege equipment. Over here you can see the Atrebartes are coming in. Here they're using their ballista to fire at these Praetorians that I had put out to guard the rear. So this line here is actually, there's no overlapping field of fire out that way. That's just sort of a rear guard. And it is one of the areas where the Atrebartes do bring most of their attack. It's good that a lot of these Praetorians do get up. It's not like a lot of them are dying there on that shot. They're just sort of being blown over. But I do lose a number of them. But nevertheless, they remain as a solid force. So I'm bringing my cavalry all the way around. You can see the Celtic onagers, Celtic ballista here, and here is Oswan moving in a large force here to assault these Vigiles, and he's moving another force up and around into the death zone over here that I've created. If you look on the map, you can see what's coming in. This is the Gallic Federation. Mercenary Celtic warriors, levy freemen. They've got one unit of Celtic ballista. They've got some light horse up here, Celtic ewes. I don't know why they're not moving right now. I think they do move later, but they're not moving right now. Levy freemen here, Celtic warriors. growth. They've got 2 units of Oswan coming in, Oswan there, the Oswan General, Celtic use. That sort of takes a little while to get down. While that's happening, you know, my Vigilese are doing okay, but they're, you know, they're to hold the line, but they're sort of, they're going to give way at any moment. So I did charge my Praetorians to that to back them up at some point.
For glory! There are units in the east in more force than you! Forward!
So they kind of go in there. It's kind of interesting. I had these auxiliary cav take on this noble horse. There wasn't very many. There were about 80 noble horses to start with. The auxiliary cav didn't lose a single unit and it killed the noble horse completely. While that was sort of tying that up, my mercenary Celtic light horse were cleaning up the groups over here. The Celtic Onager group just sort of ran away. Maybe they ran out of fire, I'm not sure. But yeah, I kind of cleaned that up. So we've got this line coming in here, and over here we've got an assault which is really, you know, not going to work. They've got some guerrilla swordsmen, Levy Freeman, and I didn't lose in this particular occasion a single legionary from this group here. I lost a few legionaries there, I guess, up against the guerrilla swordsmen. But look at this outflanking fire going that way. I didn't have to issue a single order here, it just defends on its own, it's fine, no problem. Here I'm sort of set up for this onslaught coming in here. It takes a little while for them to get in. So these guerrilla swordsmen are now wavering. Guerrilla swordsmen fleeing. It's a real solid formation here. Over here was a bit more dicey because, you know, they got a lot on here. I got my Praetorians down at 122. The Vigilese kind of picked back up at 73. These guys are just sort of, again, waiting for a potential attack from this group. So there's quite a large attack here, and, you know, I needed to do something to get rid of that. You know, they've got some Gallic hunters, they've got some Celtic skirmishers. They've got some Celtic slingers, I think, here. Here's their Oswan. I didn't want this line to break. If this line breaks, then I sort of have to turn this around to attack it. If I have to turn this around, then that means I kind of, you know, I don't have a strong position, and I could sort of lose up to the Gallic Confederation as they come in. So I really needed this to hold. So what I'm doing is I'm actually using my Celtic light horse. I brought both the cavalry around. I've still got 80 out of 80 Auxcav. I brought them both around, but then I could see the spear nobles were there to sort of protect these missile units. So I split the groups up and I used the mercenary light horse to just sort of skirmish the noble spears. Did take a little bit of damage there. But they keep the noble spears busy while I bring my Auxcav back around and engage the skirmish groups out here. So over there is the spear nobles wondering which way they want to go. So they did try to come back, but my light horse kept them busy, so now I'm sort of taking on these Celtic skirmishers, I think they are. There are the Gallic warriors over there. Some other Celtic skirmishers, years or something. So I'm sort of, you know, have a look at the numbers. I've still got 80 Auxcav, but about now, you know, the Gallic hunters start firing on my Auxcav, and I do start losing them. It almost caused this to flee, maybe. So sort of just tying up all these units, trying to whittle them down. Now my Oxcav taking some actual real damage from these Gallic warriors. Losing a few of them there. They're a very effective force. Over here the Celtic Light Horse obviously can't kill spear nobles, but they do tie them up. So that I can use my Oxcav to wreak havoc. Eventually I get a rear charge in there, we might see that later, which helps a lot. These Praetorians are now only steady. They're doing a really good job holding this rear line. And they do hold it, you know, it's good. You'll see as it turns out. Coming to the other side of the battle, there's nothing really happening here. Down here, you know, there's the final units of the Atrebartes. They're just getting slaughtered. Over here in the front line, it's really starting up with the Gallic Confederation. And again, you know, I mean, this outflanking fire principle is superior. Big wall of Vigiles. Sort of taking place, and indeed, that you know, they could have sort of brought stuff around here and gone in that way. They did not. Instead, they they brought everything up, everything through here. Kind of formed a line over here. They got their ice spawn here. They're really engaging yet. They'll engage a little bit later on, but they sort of formed a line. They're thinking, well, break in here. Got some Celtic news, some missile fire. I'm not really worried because I've got a lot of backup. I've got some more Vigiles there. I've got some mercenary Italian spearmen. I did bring in my mercenary axe warriors, and because this area now is no longer needed, I can use these guys over here. There's legionaries and this unit, so I can bring those over to that fight. So I'm still sort of micromanaging out here, cavalry, cleaning up. I've only got 12 Oxcav left, but they're getting rid of the last of those Gallic hunters. And, my mercenary Celtic Light Horse is sort of out there. The spear nobles kind of just gave up, right? They ran away, they turned their backs and they said, no, we're not going to fight anymore. And that sort of just allowed me to, finish off the rest of these groups without too much trouble. My Praetorians still there. They're tired, but no problem, right? So I did actually get a rear charge into that group with my Oxcav, which really helped to break it up. So while that's happening, this stuff over here is really just handling itself. It's a very strong defense. These units in here are not really doing any good. They're not going to break anytime soon. I mean, they're still going to be steady because they're not being attacked in the rear. So while I'm firing across like this, the Vigiles and the Legionaries are holding. This is a fight that could take a long time. We really do need to get a reverse attack. And while there's a little bit happening here, nothing really happening. I should have actually, taken these units and brought them. I should have brought these units all the way around and attacked it this way. That would have been quite effective. Then it would have been time to do it, I guess it would have been effective. It's hard to say. I mean, I've got a bit of missile fire here. These are those units, I think, that took a little while to move in. Some more Celtic use, so I think that would have worked well. It looks like the AI is trying to do something here. Eventually does actually bring its noblemen in here and attack. On this front, that's the last of the Celtic use just being destroyed. Atrebartes and spear nobles. There's nothing else left. So I kind of just stop fighting here and concentrate everything now on this front, which means really just babysitting this defense. Never Freeman wavering. Moving in more of my missile fire to fire on this group. Look up there, they're Oathsworn. I think I called them nobles earlier. The Oathsworn. It's kind of an odd AI maneuver that it attacks these legionaries essentially on its own, just like my brew. Doesn't really bring any backup.
Fine work there, men. Hold steady, lads. Not much longer.
I've got some axe warriors behind these legionaries. They get receiving side fire now. My Dacian bowmen over there and the legionaries. So they come up and they sort of stop a little bit where, you know, you can see using some missile fire and second spears. So I brought my axe warriors straight through the lines of the legionaries. Just soften them up a little bit. Other legionaries around to sandwich them. And they didn't bring their other troops up, so these was a sort of valiant attack by their noble, their Oathsworn general.
For glory!
The legionaries just crushed them. That group doesn't really survive very much longer. We've still got these other Oathsworn. They do take a bit more killing. And this is still raging on. Because they had the selling years run out of missile fire. So I'd be interested to see how other players, human players, actually attack these kinds of defensive positions. They're quite strong. You know, there's various ways you can do. Is essentially you do need to be able to maybe punch through somehow with cavalry. Obviously, if you've got a lot of missile fire, you can soften it up. If you don't have much missile fire, you need something to punch through. You can't just afford to sit inside that area because you're going to be receiving missile fire from two different directions. So their Oathsworn over here has given up. I moved this group now over to take on these Oathsworn. That takes forever to kill these guys, and I lose a number of people in the process. You'll see at the end of the battle. Still haven't really utilised these guys, but I do bring them around eventually. As I said, it would have been better if I'd brought them all around this way and come up here. I really do need to get a rear attack here, but he does have his Oathsworn there to prevent me from doing that easily. So it takes a while, but you know they are giving up anyway. all around the Oathsworn, and they're still, you'll see that they're just eager, confident, no problem. Their general is dead. They're eager. I think they're eager because the general is dead, I'm not sure. So they do take a lot of killing. That's really all I'm waiting for, really, is to kill those guys so I can get this rear attack in here. I do actually sneak the mercenary bowmen. I sort of get them through here eventually and get some shots. The other thing I thought of doing, I started to do, I had a look at some of these guys. I've got some Valides, I think, or some of them, maybe it was earlier. But I had used some flaming arrows to fire down here. But the flaming arrows here are the Valides. The flaming arrows, unfortunately, even though I'm targeting groups back here, flaming arrows hit things down here because these guys, some of them are up here. It's very frustrating because then I hit my own units as well with the flaming arrows, and I really don't want that to happen. I kind of want an order where I can just sort of draw a circle on the map and say fire into that region only, don't fire anywhere else, just fire at that mob there and circle it, and that's where they'll fire.
Understood.
Here are these Oathsworn, 117, still confident, combat even, you know. But here's some flaming arrows, so you can see, turn them on. But here these legionaries have been hit with flaming arrows. I really didn't want these legionaries to give up. You know, I didn't want them to break. It could be a terrible thing if this line were to break. I've got some backups there, maybe some other things, but you know, all I've got really is just levies and Valides to defend. So that you know, this really has to hold, and it will hold. So long as morale doesn't drop too much. I guess that's a way of attacking it, is that if you can get some focused fire, some flaming shots into the lines, perhaps you can cause the lines to break that way if you're attacking. Here's Oathsworn, still going strong, still confident. They're losing, but they're still confident. No problem. I brought these plebs around, they happen to be there. Got the Celtic light horse attacking the back of the Oathsworn. They're still confident, no problem. Gallic warriors now coming in. Put some arrow fire on the back there. The Oathsworn is still confident. Fighting on. My Gallic warriors here are now going to help by getting in some rear attack there. Brought those Falconsmen around to hit those Oathsworn. I don't know, what do you got to bring in to kill them? So finally these guys just start firing. And I think the fire does help quite a bit. These guys cross legs. When they give up, the Oathsworn over here also decide to sort of give up. It's the end of the Oathsworn. What an end that was too. So all that's left now in this attack are these cowards of noble spearmen over here. I don't know if this is an error or it's not really an error in the game. I mean, they can move, and you'll see when I attack them that they do sort of attack back, but they're just sort of standing there saying, no, we don't want to go over there because we're going to get shot by arrows, and it's no point, and we'll just stand over here. I'm not going to run away though, so I sort of take my time to just sort of let the guys freshen up a little bit, and then go down and kill the Oathsworn. The only other thing that remained was the Celtic ballista that were actually firing at me. I didn't realise, so I brought some skirmishers out that had kind of missed the battle, missed the war even. But you know, they're getting some kills. I brought these skirmishers out just to make sure they do actually disappear. I just brought all these people down to kill the spear noble. I'll just go and fast forward here because it's takes a little while for them to come over. You can never be too sure when you're up against noble spears. In fact, you see, you know, they do decide to attack. 53 noble spears. Fresh. I got my legionaries in. I'm running a little bit winded there.
Double time!
Attack, and then I kind of just bring stuff around, and they don't last very long. In fact, until they forward. 151, I do bring in some missile fire on these noble spears. 37, they're sort of dropping quickly. The legionaries here eventually do run away. Anyway, so that was the defence. Quite okay. You know, I still got a good remaining part of my force. You know, these Praetorians 339, auxiliary cav 338 kills. I got a lot of kills from the bowmen on their side. These were the Atrebartes that came in first, and I mean, there's nothing too much to speak of really. There's just a few kills spread out over the board. Their spear nobles that I killed last seem to have killed the most. I don't know how they did that. On the Gallic Confederation side, look at these Oathsworn. 539 kills from those Oathsworn. And then some kills here from the Chosen Swordsman. Their general didn't do much. They did get some reasonable kills with that Celtic ballista. I didn't realise it was out there. And Celtic U's got a number of kills there. So it's kind of a good defence. It's certainly the defence to use. You know, you can see I got 4,000 against essentially 5,000, very close to 5,000, and I killed 4,000, and they only killed about a little over 2,000. So that's the defence to use.